Okay, so thank you so much for honoring our invitation, Dr. Adewole Adekola.
You're
So
welcome.
I would just like you to do a brief introduction about yourself to our audience so that
Okay.
I know what you do exactly and what research you are into.
All right. So my name is Adewole Adekola. I am a vet. I'm a veterinarian. My first degree was in veterinary medicine. From there, I did some years of veterinary practice. I specialized mainly in small animal practice that had to do mainly with small animals like dogs and cats and pets generally. Then afterwards moved into research and did a master's in clinical pathology at the University of Ibadan, where I had my first degree. Then subsequently got interested in public health and did a master's in public health at the University of Liverpool. And afterwards, returned back to Nigeria, worked briefly with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, as part of which at least to put some of the skills I've acquired in the public health sector to use. And afterwards went back into research to solve one of the major problems I've actually noticed with tropical disease of interest in Nigeria, a particular tropical disease of interest in Nigeria called leptospirosis, which I'm currently doing my PhD on at the Royal Veterinary College at the University of London.
Wow, that's really interesting, and thank you for the brief introduction. And I know you are really contributing a lot to our society and making our world more better.
Well,
So the purpose of this interview and for this invitation is for you to be able to give us some tips and
okay.
some advice to our audience, because I know you are a lot of scholar, you benefit from a lot of scholarships also for you to go to
Okay.
University of Ibadan for your master's degree, if I am correct, and
Yeah.
University of Liverpool, and also Royal Veterinary Medicine, University of London.
Yeah.
I'm correct. Okay, good. So, and I know you are Commonwealth Shared,
Royal Veterinary College.
Royal
Yeah.
Veterinary College of Medicine,
Yes.
University
Yeah.
of Good, good. So, and I know that you are a UI scholar, you
Yeah.
2016 Commonwealth Shared Scholar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
2018 Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Like,
PhD scholarship.
right,
Yeah.
PhD scholar. So, like, how did you go about being able to get these scholarships, and how were you able to get this admission? Because a lot of people right now are looking to apply for admission. Have received a lot of message from friends, from students that I've talked in the past,
Yeah.
interested in a lot of career path, and they are looking for opportunities to go outside of Nigeria and to study. But I have limited knowledge about how I can help them than to conduct this interview. So I want to ask, how did you go about this Commonwealth Shared and this Commonwealth PhD scholarship?
Okay, so I think to start with, there are quite a lot of scholarship out there, and depending on your area of interest and depending on the country you're interested in, I think the most important thing actually when it comes to applying for scholarships and being able to actually get them is first being connected, getting the right set of information. Information is key because it's very easy for you to actually assume so many things about some of these opportunities, whereas it's right there for you to actually take. It's just for you to be able to actually get the right information, commit to seeing it through, and being able to invest the time and effort into applying for it. So for the Commonwealth Scholarship, actually, so the Commonwealth Scholarship is actually funded by the Department for International Development in the UK. So it's a government-funded project, scholarship, and it's domiciled under the Commonwealth Commission, Scholarship Commission. So they have quite a lot of scholarship opportunities, which include the Commonwealth Masters, the General Master Scholarship, and then the Shared Scholarship, which is actually domiciled between the Commonwealth Commission and other partner universities in the UK. And you also have the Commonwealth Split Site Scholarship, which is actually designed for those doing their PhDs in low and medium income countries, for them to actually be, especially those members of Commonwealth nations, to actually travel to the UK with a partner university to do like 1 year of bench work, especially for those doing lab work in the STEM and even every other field actually, where you need expert opinion and better facilities to actually do some of the things you probably wouldn't be able to do in your country. So that's also there for them. And then we also have the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship, and which is the one I'm benefiting from presently. And there are other ones like Commonwealth Fellowship Program, which is actually designed for professionals to actually come to the UK, have industrial experience in probably a different sector or in the sector they're working in, and be able to actually take back those expertise to their own country to help in tackling or developing the country. So basically, there are quite a lot of scholarship out there. That's the point I'm actually trying to make. And just like you have the Commonwealth Scholarship, you have the Chevening, you have that, you have Erasmus and other scholarship opportunities. So the most important thing is being able to actually put in the effort. It takes a whole lot of effort to actually do these things. And one of the key things that actually you really need is defining what you want for yourself first. If you want to apply for a scholarship, why do you need a scholarship? Do you have an idea of the course you actually want to apply for? What are some of the schools that actually are offering that program? And then what are the scholarships out there for the program you're interested in? So when you actually have those things itemized, it makes it easy for you to actually get the right information and liaise with people that probably had been through the same path like you probably want to go into, and then use the same, learn from the experience, gather some of the materials you need from there, and then that's just it. So basically, it's more about information, being determined, being committed to it, and that's just it basically. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that do a lot of justice. But
Yeah.
like a curious mind like me, I'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, so like if you can just detail a brief application process of
Okay.
Shared or
Okay.
Commonwealth PhD Scholar,
Okay.
how the application process goes. Do you need to write any standardized exam? Because I know most people, when they hear you are going to be writing TOEFL or IELTS or GRE or GRE Math,
Yeah.
some put them off. Like, oh, how do I get the money? Well, okay, I will start saving up for this application fee and the rest. So how did you go about it, and what challenges did you have? And did you write a research proposal, or was it a research statement or something like that?
Okay. So I think let me use the first one, mainly the master's opportunity first as an example. Then other adjunct things that need to be added to it for the PhD, I'll explain that afterwards. So for the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship, basically what you need to do is actually, and I think this also applies to some other scholarship as well, where you need to actually apply to some of the schools or the programs under the thematic area of the scholarship. So different scholarship tends to have like the thematic focus, the things they're actually focusing on, especially those for low and medium income countries. So that's always one of the most important things. So once you understand those thematic areas, you know those are the areas they need candidates from, and then you apply it in those areas. So for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, for instance, they tend to have like a list of courses out there that they want applicants can actually apply for those courses. So you apply to those courses, get the admission. Once you get the admission, then you now proceed to the stage of trying to apply for the scholarship. I think that's one of the steps most people miss, because some go straight to applying for the scholarship, forgetting the fact that they need the admission first, because the registration ID for the admission is actually the prerequisite for the Commonwealth Scholarship, for some of the Commonwealth Scholarship applications. So, so that's actually a very crucial step. So it's always very important for you to actually, and that's where I said you have to define what you want first to actually get the admission. Then with the admission, then you can now proceed to the stage where you can apply for the scholarship. So for the scholarship, you need to start the application process, go online, get on the website for the application. You definitely have quite a lot of essays to write, and most of those essays are actually, just like I said, around the thematic area of the scholarship. So for instance, my own interest has been more in the area of health and livestock production and food security. So definitely, if I'm applying for a course, then my essays and some of the questions they would ask would be, how to explore the relevance of what I'm interested in, the course I want to study, towards solving some of those problems. And I think it's understanding that problem statement, having a problem that you want to solve in your local environment, oftentimes with the Commonwealth scholarship application, having a problem you want to solve, thinking in terms of your background and some of the skills and experiences you've gathered over the years, and then how you feel the course or the program you want to apply for will equip you with skill to actually solve that problem. And then the potential ways you think you'll be able to actually solve this problem when you get back to your country. So that actually details some of the things you'd include in your essays. And then definitely you'll have to write things like a personal statement, which is standard for most admission, scholarship admission, and even the university admission as well. In terms of standardized tests, for the Commonwealth scholarship, actually, the main standardized test you probably would have to write is the test of English proficiency.
Which is
And I think that, yeah, and like your high IELTS and your TOEFL and your Pearson test of English as well. So those are the basic ones you probably might have to write. And the reason why is always advisable, I know it's not absolute, but I always advise people that if you can afford to write it, it's better to actually write, because over the years, I've actually realized that most people with very, very brilliant and excellent results would have actually gotten it if they have had that. And also because for some program, it's always easier to just have it there as a proof that you can actually use the language very well. And the thing is, most of the scholarship actually will run on a point-based system. So you want to get all the necessary points to actually give you the best opportunity. So having a standardized test is actually something I would always recommend to people. And funny enough, actually, in recent times, I've actually realized that even opportunities, local opportunities, where other beneficiaries of scholarship actually fund people, people's IELTS and even test of English exam. Because I think recently I've seen a couple of that on LinkedIn in Nigeria. So I think that's also another area where it's important for you to actually get the right information and being able to actually use that to help you. So if you think the money for you to actually write the exam is your problem, there are even other opportunities for you to actually access the funds to actually get that. So it's the most important thing is get the information, read the instructions very well, and then know how well you fit into the eligibility criteria of the scholarship, and that's it. So.
Thank you so much. You've really done a lot of justice, and I want to believe that for the scholarship for UK, the one you benefited from, there's no attachment of like maybe teaching duties or anything than just your research.
No, not at all. So basically, because your program is actually okay, so for the masters, you don't really have to do any teaching.
Okay.
You're funded by the commission, by the scholarship, so you get your stipends from them. So
Okay.
you are not expected to do any teaching at all. For the PhD one, you're not expected to do any teaching. Like, it's not a must for you to do any teaching. But it's always advisable when you're doing your PhD to actually see if you can explore the options of also teaching as well alongside, because the essence of a PhD is not just to develop your research skill also, but also your ability to actually convey the information or convey the knowledge you've acquired to people. And I think one of the main hallmark of knowledge is actually being able to actually explain whatever complex idea you have to people in the most simplest of ways, which is what teaching opportunity will actually accord you. So, so no, you're not mandated to actually teach, but you can actually have it as part of your program if you want. And also, most universities also make it part of the necessary things for you to do also. So it depends on the university, and also depends on the individual. I think another thing I need to add also for the PhD application, which is a bit different from the master's application, is the fact that for the PhD application, you need to have like an idea of your proposal, of your research proposal in your application as well. So it's not just about you writing your personal statement and some of the essays. You also need your research proposal. And so while for the master's, you need to get the admission first. For the master's, for the PhD application, for the Commonwealth PhD application, you need to at least have one university admission for your PhD and have like one or two other lecturers they are also in contact with who are willing to supervise you in other universities. So you'd have to pitch your application with at least 2 universities for a PhD scholarship application. So that way, at the end of the day, if the scholarship, the commission feels you stand a better chance with one university, even though both universities are actually of interest to you, then they always advise to go for which one, either of the two options you have. And so it's always advisable to actually have your admission, at least a PhD admission, before you apply for the Commonwealth PhD scholarship as well.
That's Thank you very much. So I will ask one more question, then something else come up I can also ask. So the question I want to ask now is concerning, okay, like there's a lot of, I would say, rumors around, like, okay, if you are on the Commonwealth scholarship, once you finish, you have to go back to your country for times and the rest. And also, I know on the news that currently the UK now are inviting international students, once they finish their program, that they can stay up to 2 years after to do some work.
Yes.
So how does that really go? Can you put some do you have any idea on that?
I think, like I explained earlier, actually, most of this scholarship, like for the Commonwealth scholarship, actually, is designed as part of the efforts of the Department for International Development to develop low and medium income countries that belongs to that part of Commonwealth nations. And so one of the major things is they've identified different areas where they felt human resources are needed in those countries, like health, like maths, and those basic areas. So yes, the rule is there, the bond is there actually for you to actually return to your home country after your program, which was part of what I was trying to explain with the flow of most of the essays in terms of the problem you want to solve, how you solve it, how the program will accord you the skill to solve those problems, and how you intend to do that when you get back to your country. So yes, the rule is there for you to actually go back after your program, but you won't be stopped from proceeding with your education if after your master's you have a PhD opportunity. You definitely will be allowed to stay in the UK to do your PhD. Do you understand? So it's possible for you to actually transit from a master's program straight into the PhD program without having to return back to your country. At least I've had friends that did that. Although in my own case, I would return back to Nigeria for about 8 months before I actually came back for my PhD. So, so I think that is that. And then after your PhD as well, you're expected to go back. You might not be able to come back to the UK immediately. You might not. It depends, actually. I think the thing is most of these things are not actually cast in stone because, for instance, if you have a job opportunity here or probably an option to actually extend your research outside the scope of your PhD for like some time or maybe a postdoc or something, the Commonwealth Commission, knowing fully well that will probably help boost your employability and your skill and competence, will definitely also give some consideration in that instance. So that's the reason why I always advise or tell people that have a strategic plan of what you want to do at the end of the day and how to actually proceed after each step. So I think the most important thing is getting the right information, to be fair. So that's just basically it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. You've really done a lot of justice even to the questions I have in mind to ask.
Okay, yeah.
So last thing I'll ask that comes to my mind now that might be curious about to ask is concerning the visa issue. How is visa issue for Nigerian applying to UK and some other country applying to UK, and how do you think this pandemic period has affected that, and how do you think students applying for scholarship now should prepare for the next batch of scholarship? What should they put into consideration?
Okay, so I think I'll have to take the questions one after the other. For the visa issue, I think depending on your kind of status, actually, when you want to apply for the visa. For instance, Commonwealth scholars, student on Commonwealth scholarship and student on Shared Scholarship actually have to apply for their own Tier 4 visa, which is actually the visa for students under a separate link on the visa application platform. That's because they are on like a special visa option.
Okay.
So to a large extent, if you're a Commonwealth scholar or a Shared Scholar, you don't really have so much problem with your visa application because you're government funded. So it makes it easy for you to actually apply for your visa. If you are a self-funded student, then you definitely need to meet the different criteria, actually meet the different specifications for you to be able to apply for your visa in terms of your maintenance and the main reason why you're going to study, having like your universities to support your visa and all those kind of things. So I think those are actually the main difference when you're applying as a Commonwealth scholar and also as like a self-sponsored student. So those are some of the things you have to take into consideration. I think another thing is with the whole pandemic right now, everything is virtually on lockdown. I've been working from home for the past couple of months. So, and I think that's still going to remain like that because at present, most facilities are not going to be open for a while. I think I remember seeing in the news some days ago that Cambridge University won't be open for face-to-face classes until probably next year. So which means most students will probably have to do like virtual learning. And even other universities would actually be doing limited on-site teaching, as most things will actually be done via the virtual platforms and all those kind of things. So it's a very strange time. It's a very, very funny and unique time actually. And so I think things will actually evolve over time, and it depends on what happens in the next couple of months. At present, schools are still closed, locked down in the UK, so we don't even know what's going to happen next with the next batch of admission. But the point is, admission is currently ongoing, and most scholarships are actually still being rolled out. At least I know the list for the shared scholarship, at least to some extent, they've actually been progressing with the application for this year as well. So that means students will resume. The modality of how they will resume is what we don't know yet, but I think that's the point. So it shouldn't stop anyone from applying. If you feel you actually want to go for the opportunity, just go straight, apply for it. And as the situation evolves, you then fit into it as well. It might be via virtual platform, it might be via direct on-site training. Definitely the whole thing will actually be dependent on what's happened next in the next couple of months with the face of the pandemic. So I think I've answered all the questions, right?
You've done justice to us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And
Yeah.
audience, you've heard it all. So you should put all this application, all these tips, all this information into work, and make sure you subscribe and share this video so that it can help as many people that might need this information right now. And you are free to ask any question in the comment section. We'll surely answer you. And any that we don't have answers to, we'll surely refer the question to someone that we know that can answer those questions. So thank you very much.